Hey guys, Brent Hull Build Show. Finally at the French style house that we've been building for a while. Almost finished up, we're 99% done. Want to highlight some of the key details, kind of the fun things that we did and how it's all coming together today in the Build Show. So we really like and think gates are really important to the style of this house, this French country house. And so we like a wood gate, right? A wood gate, it has more charm, it has more kind of historicity, right? The problem with building solid wood gates is that they sag over time, right? These joints, even if you do full mortise and tenon, fall apart. We actually build a steel frame inside there. We hang the steel frame and then we attach wood to it. So we have something that's very long lasting and that looks beautiful and captures the story of the house. So there's a lot of great things that kind of capture the spirit of this house, right? Shutters are one of them. We've got these paneled shutters. You notice that little diamond detail in the bottom panel, louvered above, paneled above that, kind of a really neat French detail. Color is really important, right? So this blue is really a pop of color and gives this house, which is, you know, stucco and stone, some life, right? And then we come to our front entry. Now we've got a real classical front entry, this sweeped copper roof over top of it. We've got these columns that are engaged, this stonework, okay? That's kind of rusticated stonework because you're seeing that those stone pieces kind of pieced out like that. That's called rustication. It's a little bit dressed down, right? But still a very formal entry. And then we built this awesome French door, right? You see that panel detail on the inside, awesome astragal that goes over top of it. A typical French detail where you have this massive astragal that kind of separates these two doors. Last thing before we go inside, I want to show you this cobblestone driveway, right? We've done cobblestone in here with this banding, this concrete banding in limestone, all again trying to capture this country French feel, right? Where we've got these shutters, rusticated stone, cobblestone, country gate, all things that kind of capture the story of this house. So one thing you're going to notice when we walk inside is French moldings and French details, right? We've got French moldings on here. How do I know they're French? Well, we look at historic pattern books, we see the shapes and the styles of these moldings and we copy them, right? This 2-panel configuration is kind of typical. Sometimes it'll be a 3-panel configuration, but look at the size of this astragal, right? If you look on the inside of this thing, one, it's about 3 inches thick. You know, it sticks out here about 2 inches, but this really captures kind of that historic feel and historic detail that kind of is part of the magic of this house. So we're inside this formal entry hall, right? We've got it laid out. We've got this beautiful view back out to the pool, right? There's an access point here that's really important that you see all the way through out there, and then another access that runs this way, right? Well, pretty typical in a traditional house, you'd have these formal spaces on either side. I love this dining room. We've got an antique mantle, an antique French mantle, and an over mantle over top of it. Again, we're looking at historic pattern books. We're looking at details of how these things were laid out. And so the moldings in this room, the mantle, that antique mantle and the over mantle, all part of the, capture the spirit of it. Now, I don't know if you remember last time when we did this video, we talked about the moldings, okay? Now, all these moldings are French, okay? And what we've done is I've shown in some of my other videos this cross-setted corner, right? Where this corner kicks out. You'll see it here, you'll see it there. This is on top of an arch molding, but all the moldings, this wainscot cap, the top of the wainscot cap, the base molding, these plinths, all the back bands and casings, even the panel mold are kind of typical French details. I spent some last time in my last video talking about the height of chair rails. Notice that the chair rail here is about 28 inches, okay? We've got, 11-foot ceilings in here, right? So we're working on that punctuation, right? We're working on this line that also unifies. Notice that it's in the dining room, it's in this here, and it's in this hall, right? So now we're on this back access hall, and we've got this low chair rail that really helps lift up and create height, which is really pretty and beautiful. So now we're on this back hall, right? We've just come off that front axis. Now we're on this back axis. We've got these arches that kind of define kind of walk you through this space. And then we walk back into this family area, which is really awesome. Before I show you the family room, I want to show you the trophy room because it's great. So the trophy room was this height and this volume, and we've got these timbered ceilings and timbered details above that really remind us and capture the mood of this space. We've got these paneled walls that go up. They build this kind of this height and this presence. It's grounded by this back door, which is this big stained grade oak door that we've got. And then on this side, we've got this incredible mantle with a beautiful iron fireplace. We've got this awesome bar where we made this custom French design around the bar. This room is a space that I think people are really gonna hang out. So in this bar, they've got awesome details. They've got a little wine storage room over here. And then look at this French detail we've got over this bar. We've got these beautiful mirrors, but look at the moldings at the top. We've curved these oak moldings to match in with the crown and cornice so that this piece really ends up being this beautiful expression, right? That reminds us we're in a French house, reminds us there's some French detailing there, but it's really well crafted, a kind of a beautiful statement piece. Remember on another video I talked about the Harmon hinges, right? We've got these, looks like a paneled opening, but these are actually the doors that go into this pocket, right? And are closed up, they look like natural doors, but this is really this great detail that frames this opening. Now you're seeing it finished. So this is another great space, right? This is the family room that opens all into the kitchen back there. We are still reminding ourselves where we are, right? We're still in this country French house. We've got the beam ceilings in both here and the kitchen. We've got another antique fireplace, right? Another French fireplace, right? We've got these moldings and these details here. Again, they're all French, right? And so we've got these hints and reminders that sometimes you go into a house and you're like, wait, where am I, right? You're not remembering where we are, but now you're remembering the shutters on the outside, the gate, all those different details that, you know, just harken back to a sense of place, right? Harken back to this remembering and this idea of, oh yeah, here I am. This house makes sense both inside and out. And I love how these details came together. So, you know, we're talking about all these details that remind us where we are. I keep forgetting, I don't remember we talked much about the doors in the past, but you've got really two sides of this door. We've got this outside panel, right, that covers, which protects, right? So we've got in these doors a double panel, and then on the inside, we've got this panel lower section. So again, French moldings, French details, all these reminders of where we are. Now, this is an awesome space back here. This is this wonderful back patio. We got these beam ceilings. And remember we talked about the Gothic period, the Gothic revival? Well, here's kind of some French Gothic arches, right? Notice this detail as it comes down. It hits this chamfered section on this stone, which is really, again, French and Gothic and historic. And now, remember where we are, we're now back on access with the front door and the pool, right? We've got a very balanced space. It's even on either side. The beam ceilings give us symmetry, right? One thing that we're going to see when we walk on the outside is over here, we've got this kind of this living section over here on this inside. And so it's a timbered section as well, right? You've got these stone arches, and then all of a sudden we've got these wood surround here. So you're coming back to another spot where we've got an incredible sense of place, and all of a sudden a new sanctuary, a new place to hang out that opens right up onto the pool. Great detail, great room. Again, antique fireplace, right? We've got this antique French fireplace that opens up into this area. Timber ceiling, antique limestone fireplace. It's dressed down. It's not as nice as the other one, but these timbering details, notice that dovetail lap joint up there, all kind of harkening back, reminding us where we are. So what we're really trying to capture here and convey is a house that's grown up over time, or a house that is evolved, right? It creates a narrative and a story about the house that is more interesting. What we're always trying to do when we build a house and when we design a house is layer it, okay? Give it this sense of layers that oh, this was added later, or hey, that's different than this. What's going on with that? It creates interest. It's part of what happens when you go to an historic house that's grown over time. They're more interesting. So now you've got these beautiful arches that come across here. This timbered section kind of kicks out, and it's kind of its own interesting piece. We've got a carriage house that it was, added later and was, has a servant's area above, right? This thing might have been an outdoor sitting area or an outdoor barn or something that got tied into the house later, right? Really, we're thinking that, how old is this house? Is it 200 years old? Is it 300 years old? How many generations have lived here? Creating all that kind of story and all that kind of narrative that makes the house more interesting. Okay guys, so French house, right? How do you do a French house, right? We're trying to create and capture a story, a narrative. You've now seen it kind of mid-building, late building, and now almost finished, right? Hopefully you get some great clues as to how to build, right? Creating a narrative, creating a story of a house that's grown over time, putting in beautiful details, historic details, architectural salvage, all those things that create these layers that create a great house. Hey, follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I'm Brent Hull. Thanks for watching.